Hello, I'm Felicity.
And I'm Frankie, and together we created All About Feelings. Thank you so much to the SLA judges for having us on their shortlist.
On this series, we always work collaboratively, and it's great fun working with someone else.
We used to be in the same room, researching, talking, sketching.
And trying things out over a cup of tea. Frankie, usual, milk no sugar?
Ooh, tea. Oh, thanks, Floss. My job is to think about how the book is going to look.
And I work on the structure and polishing the words.
We wrote All About Feelings to help children recognise and express their emotions.
Research shows us that children who learn to manage their feelings are more independent, less anxious, and more able to concentrate.
So we wanted to make a book that helps young children acquire these important skills.
My favourite part of the book is where we link emotions to colours, and children say what the emotions make them feel like.
My favourite part of working on this book was seeing all our sketches brought to life by our fantastic illustrator, Ma Ferrero. Her work is so well observed. My favourite page is where we have jumbled up feelings, where we can feel lots of different things at the same time.
It's a great privilege to be shortlisted, and it makes us feel
very proud, slightly nervous,
excited,
and very, very,
very, very happy. Thank you, everyone.
In 2020, Usborne was named Children's Publisher of the Year at the British Book Awards, so it should probably come as no surprise that there are 2 Usborne titles in this year's Information Book Award shortlist. The judges were impressed by the way that All About Feelings by Frankie Allen and Ma Ferrero managed to explore all the complexities of our feelings while remaining accessible and engaging for under 7s. It encourages young children to think about how others might be feeling, to empathise with others, to consider how to react in different situations, and how to be kind to themselves. It also looks at how our feelings can be mixed up and confusing, and how they can change through the day. The picture book format, with its well-balanced use of illustration and text, is an ideal book for sharing and talking about. The book also includes sound, practical advice for grown-ups, plus the link to the excellent Usborne Quick Links website for more ideas. All in all, this is an excellent book to help youngsters develop emotional literacy.
Hello, I'm Liz Gogley, and this is Heroes Who Help Us from Around the World, it's illustrated by Ryan Wheatcroft and published by Hachette Children's Books. I was commissioned to write this book over 2 years ago, long before the current crisis, and then, as of now, the people who spring to mind, superheroes, are our doctors and nurses and our firefighters, and of course I included them in the book, not knowing that we'd be considering these people uber heroes in the current circumstances. I also dug deep into my own childhood and wrote about my own personal heroes, which for me are my teachers. I was not a very competent student when I was young. I wasn't a big reader, and when it came to writing, my grammar was poor and I couldn't spell. But teachers gave me confidence, so much confidence in fact that I went on to study English at university, and I've made a career out of writing, and I've worked in publishing for over 30 years, and this is the first time in all that time, over 100 books, children's books, and some grown-up books, that I've ever been shortlisted. So I feel extraordinarily excited and thankful, but also I'm thrilled that this book's out there at the moment when children are more fascinated than ever with people that help us, and maybe this book will be their inspiration, and they will choose their career path by looking at this book and seeing all the wonderful ways that people can help. And anyway, thank you, SLA. It really means a lot.
Heroes Who Help Us by Liz Gogley and Ryan Wheatcroft is a book about people who help us in our communities, which we've all seen before. Almost every publisher has had a go at doing the topic. But it's really unusual to see a book that includes so many different varieties of helpers and also includes them all in a single volume. It's beautifully produced and very well written, and also extremely broad. There's a whole list of various people that you don't often see, including people like librarians, which I've never seen one of before, and even volunteers, which, given recent events, is even more remarkable. It's beautifully laid out and illustrated. Every spread is quite interesting to look at. There's a lot of variety in the activities that people in even quite similar jobs are shown doing, and of course there's huge diversity shown, even though most of the little set pieces are labelled as being from a different country. Really, with the people shown in the illustrations, they could be in dozens of places. It just is a very, very nice way of demonstrating that helping others and being supportive of your community isn't limited to one type of place or one type of person.
Hello, I'm Laura Cowan and I am the author of the Usborne Book of the Moon, which is possibly one of my most favourite books to have worked on, as I got to work with two amazing people at Usborne, Zoe Ray, the designer, and Ruth Brocklehurst, the editor. And everything we created together we got to send to Diana, the illustrator, for her to interpret, so I was always really excited to see what came back from her. There was a lot to discover about the moon, and how people on Earth viewed it and thought about it and tried to work out what it was and how it got there. I think my favourite spread might have been this Moon Legends spread, because I got to read lots and lots of Moon Legends and from all over the world and find out how different people in time thought the moon got there and what it was, etc. However, I also really like researching the space race and the Apollo mission, as you kind of realise how crazy it was that people went into space at a time where computers were so enormous they filled up a whole room. Most people didn't have a television. Most people didn't fly in aeroplanes. But some people were going into space in what was essentially like a gigantic tin can. So I really like these pages where I've done it as a comic strip, and it's got a really fun, also kind of scary story about Buzz Aldrin fixing the module with a pen, and if he hadn't fixed it with a pen, they wouldn't have been able to fly back to Earth. So, I mean, that's just a bit mind-blowing, really. Could have been a very different story. So I'm really glad that the School Librarians Association have shortlisted this book, because it means they enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you're a school librarian, you see a lot of books, and so if you like one, shows that the people who made it probably did a good job. So thank you very much, and I'd also like to thank all the children that I've worked with as a volunteer tutor in Newham, because whenever I'm writing, I am thinking of them and what would they find funny, what would they find interesting, how would they relate to this. So thank you very much.
The Usborne Book of the Moon by Laura Cowan and illustrated by Diana Toledano. This fascinating history of the moon, with its eye-catching illustrations and intriguing facts, is guaranteed to spark a sense of wonder in children of all ages. The first double-page illustration is stunning and wonderfully dreamy, from the looming full moon to tiny nocturnal creatures. Starting the moon's history with folk tales from Finland and China, we are told of the moon's value to early humans for hunting and measuring time. The subsequent who's who of our understanding of the moon goes beyond the obvious, including Anaxagoras and Al-Astrolabi, which keen readers may wish to research further. Fact fans will be engrossed in the space race double page. Thoughtful design injects new energy into well-travelled ground by depicting key milestones for the American and Russian teams on two timelines which run across the page in parallel. Readers will be fascinated to hear about lesser-known firsts, such as women in space, person to have space sickness, and the role played by animals. The events of 1969 are dramatised by an eye-boggling sequence of comic strip and double-page illustrations, complete with Katherine Johnson. From 1969 to now, and what might be next for the story of us and the moon. This is a glorious and engaging book, where carefully considered text and captivating artwork combine to magnify the never-decreasing magic of the moon. A book that creates intrigue as quickly as it demystifies. It will undoubtedly inspire new space-bound aspirations.
Hello, my name's Becky Davis and I am the author of Goodnight Ocean. I wrote Goodnight Ocean for everyone because I really wanted to share my love for the natural world, particularly the sea. And this book is especially for anyone who likes information in bite-sized chunks, or for those children who maybe learn in a slightly different way. I think sometimes non-fiction can feel a little inapproachable to some children, and I really wanted to show that factual books can also be beautiful. Well, I don't know what your favourite page is, but my favourite page is the last one. And that is because you can really see all the diversity in the ocean, all the different colours and the different species. And also, I do like that it's rather shiny at the end. Actually, I was lucky enough to be able to put all my favourite facts about the ocean into the book. And my favourite of those is probably the fact about the manatee. Did you know that manatees can sleep for up to half a day, but have to rise to the surface every now and then to breathe? I thought that made them sound rather lazy, and that is something that I quite admire in an animal. Being shortlisted for the SLA Information Book Award means a great deal to me because I'm a huge advocate of libraries in schools and the accessibility of information to all children, no matter what background. So thank you, SLA.
Little Explorers, Goodnight Ocean is written by Becky Davies and illustrated by Carmen Saldana. This is a beautifully tactile book which cleverly uses cut-out sections to draw you through the ocean on a journey at bedtime. There are interesting and short facts all over the pages about the creatures that make the ocean their home, and the rhyming couplets really make it a very soothing read to hear out loud. A beautiful book for bedtime, a wonderful book to share with information and a poetic nature. I loved this story, as did my 2-year-old.